That could be streaming. Starting. Stream health. Live stream. Okay, I'm online. And let's just post some linkage around. What is my YouTube link? Hey everybody, hello. Just going to type in the chat. As always, I'm just going to do a quick tech check to make sure that everything's working. Can someone tell me that they can hear me? And I'll type this in the chat as well. So can you hear me? Can you hear me loud and clear? Cool. An LTD-EC. LTD are knocking out some great guitars at the moment. Cool. Hi Ronnie. Hi Key Swiss. Hi Matt Quiney. Hi Imre. Yeah, wicked. Right, I'm going to try not to look at myself in the webcam because that's behind where I actually am live. What is my live stream thing? I will get on with it in a moment, I promise. I just need to make sure that this gets in as much people's screens as possible. The Guitar Geek. Is it live? /live? Let's find out. Yes, it is. Okay, I'm just going to post that on my Facebook. And if anybody wants to post that for me as well, this is going in Facebook group, The Guitar Geek. Here we go. I'm live on YouTube now. And publish. If I could ask the legend that is Matt Quine to post this in the Fret Talk group, that would be awesome. And if you want to post this anywhere around the interwebs, that would be cool too. And without further ado, I will take a swig of water and we will start. I've lost the dashboard. There we go. Thanks, Ronnie. Thanks for being patient. Best guitar parts bucket under $200. Okay, let me answer these questions before I start with the Chibsons. This Telecaster in the back here is also made in China. It's a Buck Owens copy. It's not branded, so it's not a fake. It doesn't claim to be a Fender or anything. I will be running through that also at some point. Thanks for the Katana compliments. Once again, I must mention every time that I mention the Katana, I'm not affiliated with Boss in any way. I am totally independent, apart from the fact that some people support me on Patreon, and there are adverts on my videos, so I do get a little bit of money for YouTube, but nothing from any musical company. So, let me go back to here. There we go. That's going to go up there. That is a Bill Kelleher signature Explorer, yes. Just there. So many guitars, so little time. I'm going to get on with the Chibsons. Behind me, just here, are two Les Pauls. Oh, messy desk. They are not Gibson, although they say Gibson on the headstock. That's the first one. There's no order, although they do have serial numbers. And the reason I'm doing this video is because I've got two of them, and I think that it might be cool to compare the two because people want to know what they're going to be getting. So this one has the serial number on the back, which is also fake. It's 02005563. Yeah, so it is totally fake and totally not a Gibson. Before we go into why it's a fake and how it's a fake, I'll pick up the other one. This is the second one. Serial number 02005561. Oh, it doesn't. That would be awesome if it said boobs. Right. I'm going to move these these screens around a little bit because I'm looking in the wrong place all the time. There we go. That's better. So, the plan today. That's the second one. Sorry. The plan today is to put them on the desk in front of me, move the webcam, and take them apart and see what's inside and what sort of quality you can expect. One thing I'm not going to be covering is the legality of these guitars. That's not the point of this video. That is a discussion to be had, but it is everywhere over YouTube. I'm only here today to discuss the quality of the instruments that you receive, not the fact that it says Gibson on the headstock. Okay, so just to keep it clear, the first one we looked at is this one, and the second one is this one. I'm going to put some little stickers on there. There we go. So, there's a little sticker that I use for marking frets for students. That's the red one. And don't know if you've got any colour preference, but that's going to be the blue one. So they are out of the box. What should I say about them? I took them out of the box. This is not an unboxing because I'm a bit tired of doing unboxing videos. They came in that sort of was it polystyrene foam that just makes a heck of a mess. So that was frustrating. So I did that outside. The guitars have been in this room since this morning. They've been in the room about 6 hours, 7 hours, 6 hours. And so they've acclimatized. I'm happy they're acclimatized. So they've not come out of the cold or anything. They were in a car and they were in another house last night. Yeah, so let's look at the first one. The first one compared to the set. So let's stop calling that's red and blue. Okay, this is red. This is blue. Blue is considerably thicker than red. Hang on. I don't know if it's. Can you see that? That's blue against red. So red, blue. Blue is noticeably thicker. If I were to put them back to back like that, or side to side, it's not that much. It feels a lot more than it is. It seems to be here. Where it's about half a binding. So there's the binding width there, and it's about half of that binding again thickness. This one is noticeably heavier. I haven't weighed them yet, but that one's going to be approaching 4 kilos. That one's lighter, but still fairly heavy. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the webcam so you can't see me anymore. And then we're going to run through the guitar. Let's just put, I've got a mat here to put on my desk and a cushion to protect the desk and the guitar. So let's go back to the chat. Mikey, I found that the first one had a terrible pickup selector location. Seems okay to me. I'm just looking at I'm looking at the wall over there on my Les Paul Studio. Oh, this is the blue one. This is a real Gibson. Although it has also a fake headstock because I redid the headstock. I'll put those side by side. I think it's all right. It's not. It's a bit high on the Chibson. I will answer all the questions, I promise. I've anticipated a few things, but not everything, obviously. Does Imre, does the neck feel cheap in particular? The answer is no. The simplest way to put this is this feels like an Epiphone. It's very Epiphone. In fact, some of these are made in an Epiphone factory, and then have a naughty Gibson logo stuck on the top. So yeah, it feels like an Epiphone. It feels almost exactly the same. I've had several Epiphone standards. A friend of mine has got the Epiphone Black Beauty with 3 pickups, and it reminds me of that guitar. The finish is good, mostly. I'm looking at both for this. So this is the red one, this is the thinner one, and I've checked both of them over, and I'll post some photos at some point. They're really good. The worst thing that comes straight to my eye is, let's just check that, got to check the focus on this webcam because I've set it up. Where is it? Focus. I'm going to brave autofocus. There, can you see this binding here, right at the top of the open book? It's a bit too thick. Not much, but it is noticeable. The binding here is also not great, but I'm being really quite picky there because Epiphones and the Epiphone Black Beauty, and I had an Epiphone Tribute Plus until quite recently, and that was also fairly similar. I also saw that in here, where the nut is, where it meets the headstock, it's a bit rough there, and we're talking a little bit rough. I'll go more into detail on that later. But generally you can see it's quite shiny and quite well done. The Gibson logo looks okay, but to anybody that knows what they're talking about knows it isn't the Gibson. Firstly, it's poly, and it's very obviously a poly finish. On the back, we've got Made in USA, no year, and a serial number, and Gibson lacquer over their stamped dates. And this has been lacquered, or painted, lacquered, and then stamped. And that's generally what I've seen with all pictures of Chibsons, how they are. And this one's been lacquered and then stamped, so you've got bare wood here. There's nothing over that. As far as I know, the Grovers are fake. These are Grover tuners by badge. Generally the hardware is too cheapy, goldy looking. I'm just going to turn that autofocus back off. It looks cheap, the gold, but not really much cheaper than the Epiphone stuff. So let's go for some questions. How does it compare to a cheap Epi? It feels the same as an Epiphone, and not a cheap Epiphone. I think the Black Beauty goes for about £500–600 euros at the moment. How high-low do you like to set up your bridge and pickups on a Les Paul style guitar? As low as possible for the action, and depending on what kind of output pickups you've got for the pickup height. On my Les Pauls, I like them to sound quite classic Les Paul and sort of classic rock 60s, 70s. So I don't have particularly hot pickups, and I set them where it sounds best. Normally a little bit higher on the top strings. I just need to move that down a little bit. There. This is as it's come out of the box. I've not touched it yet, setup wise. Yes, that's the blue guitar earlier was the one that I did up. Imre, these are not Grover tuners. I think I just covered that. That's Gravy tuners. Yeah, it is a neck, a glued in neck. No idea. It's solid. As far as I know, there's no chambering. We're going to take this off in a moment and have a look. Regarding keeping them, I'm only borrowing them at the moment. Matt, would you swap out the pickups on these? We will find out. Because I suppose first I should plug it in before I rip it apart, if that's okay with everybody. That's going to require me to tune them up. back here I've got the Boss Katana. I'll turn that on, and my pedal board down here, of which I've got the Big Muff Russian and the Crazy Cacti from K-Line. So, feel-wise, it really does feel like the Epiphone. I have tuned this a few times and pulled the strings out. It desperately needs new strings. Imagine these strings are just for show, really. So unplugged, this is so nut is not cut properly, action is too high, bridge is too high, stop bar looks okay. We're going to take the strings off without everything today, I promise. I'm going to make this as concise as possible. I know I'm waffling a bit. So there's a bit of buzz as well. One thing I don't have is my fret rocker. So unplugged. Unplugged, it feels good, sounds good. Even with the cheap, nasty strings that are making my fingers black. And I have played them a little bit because I couldn't resist it. I'm going to turn the katana on now. No, I'm not. I'm going to tune the other one. Very disorganized today. Man, that is noticeably heavier. This is the blue one I'm playing at the moment, you can see. If you've just joined, then hey Stephen from Thailand. Cool. Hello. I've got a blue sticker on this one and a red sticker on the other one to differentiate between the two. The biggest difference so far is that this blue one is thicker and heavier. Okay, so I'm going to play them both unplugged, and just to get a feel of the guitar. Okay. Okay, that one is, I don't know if you can hear that, that one's quieter, I think. Yeah. Already out of tune. Okay, that's quite nicely balanced though. I've just noticed the jack socket is loose on this one, so we might have some issues. But let's turn the katana on. This is clean. Cleanish. So bridge, everything's at full whack, okay? Everything's on 10. Just checking what I've got set on the katana. I'm on the crunch, so I'm going to put that on the clean channel. Here we go, clean. Hopefully that's loud enough. So this is the red one. This is the thinner, lighter one. That needs to be a bit louder, I think. Okay, so I'm going to If you're any Katana users out there, I've got the amp set in 0.5 watt mode with the master volume cranked right up, and I'm controlling the overall volume of the amp with the channel volume. Back to the red one. Okay, let's try neck pickup. Neck. For me, that is warmer. It's deeper. There seems to be more bottom end on this one. Please ignore the tuning, because these are terrible strings and there's no setup on the guitars. But on both of them, there's no crackling on the pots, but the pots, the actual knobs, are too tight to the guitars themselves. Ah, that one's just popped off. This pot needs to be pulled out a little further through the guitar, and it's currently touching the paintwork. Ooh. Okay, so back to the questions. The blue one sounds better in my opinion. I'm trying not to give opinions, or at least set out not to, but I think I prefer the blue one. It looks a lot more like EP60's Tribute. I had is it the Tribute Plus outfit thing? I had one of those in Tobacco Burst, and yeah, it's very similar. This is based on the custom Black Beauty, but it's very similar to that Epiphone. Blue is less scratchy. Yeah, I'd agree. Matt, the finish is poly. Sorry, just trying to catch up on this chat here. You like the look of the red but the sound of the blue. Jack, what a dilemma. Then do you choose your ears or your eyes? This feels like, the blue one feels like a normal Les Paul. This feels like an Epi. This feels a little thinner, and still cool, still good, but not as good. They are both decent, Mr. Good. Let's put some overdrive on there. I'm using the K-Line Crazy Cacti. I'm going to go straight back to the bridge again. Red one, thinner body, dodgy input jack. Ah man, that's kind of cool. Overdriven. It seems clearer than the blue one. terrible, awful, having to make that decision. Okay, anything you want, any questions, anything you want me to answer regarding playing it? Let's go back to the questions. Chinese made, yeah, Ronnie, you're absolutely right. The Chinese guitars have increased so much in quality. The Classic Vibe series, I believe, is Chinese. Here's a Classic Vibe Telly. Is it Chinese or Indonesian? Chinese. And that is a stonking guitar. Sorry, that's the Classic Vibe Telecaster. That's a really good guitar. Oh. Wicked. When we make a video about the DIY kit you bought a while ago, the Les Paul Junior, I have been trying to get that starting for a long time. Deciding on what colour is probably the most difficult thing. I'm going to continue the vlogs that I've did one of, and hopefully get some feedback on colours and ideas and what I can do with it. But I've bought some nitrocellulose paint in TV yellow, so I'm thinking TV yellow. But what colour would you paint it? Wicked. Thomas, how do they compare to the US-made Gibsons in your opinion? Depends on the year of the Gibson. I think I've said already, they feel a lot like an Epiphone. So the distance between this and a Gibson is huge, but the distance between this and an Epiphone is not that big. Some of these Chibsons are actually made in the Epiphone factory. Apparently, I have nothing to back that up with, apart from reading online. But it doesn't feel like a Gibson, mainly because it's a poly finish. And Gibson are using nitrocellulose finishes on their Les Pauls. So yeah, this one feels good, the thicker one, the blue one. I'm going to get that wrong in a moment and you're going to shout at me. So yeah, it doesn't feel like a Gibson. I've got to get that out there now. I'm not doing politics in this video, I'm just ripping them apart and seeing what's inside and playing them through and seeing how they are. If you're going to buy a Chibson and expect a Gibson, you're going to be disappointed, or maybe on something. They're not as good as the USA Gibsons. If you need to have Gibson written on the headstock, then you end up with something that's maximum Epiphone quality. But saying that, Epiphone are making such good guitars at the moment. I have an Epiphone master built acoustic. I have two. I've just recently sold one, and it's a fantastic guitar. What else do I have? I have an Epiphone Casino over there. Yeah, I think Epiphone are knocking it out of the park at the moment. Let's go back to this chat. It's like looking at Rolex. Yeah, Matt, that was for you, by the way. So I'm so behind in the chat. Yeah, it's kind of the gold color gives it away as well. It's not terrible, but it could be better. An all guitar tour would be dope. All right, I will do an all guitar tour at some point. William, just tuning in here, being there in your room, how accurate is it to the sound of a real Gibson? Let's find out. I've got a real Gibson. Oh no, I have a real Gibson. I have a Les Paul Standard outside, but the thing is, it's got a few issues. I should have fixed that before this video. This is blue Chibson, and up there is the Les Paul Studio Light. I'm just going to play some open chords and switch between clean and overdrive, just to give you as much feel as I can for the sound and the tuning. Which leads me on to Matt's question: how good is the intonation? Not bad. The bridge, the bass side, these 4 to 6 bleh, is not as good as 1 to 3, which is pretty normal. Sometimes these bridges are put in the wrong place and they're not measured correctly. Looking at it, I would say that on this guitar, this part of the bridge should be slightly further back, only slightly, and these saddles are already almost to the back, so I don't know if I can actually intonate this properly. Regarding the other one, the red one, the angle looks roughly the same, but I think the pickup here is slightly closer to the bridge than on this one. I don't know what that means, whereabouts on the guitar we are, but there's less distance in between the pickup, very, very slightly. I think this one may intonate better. Ugh. Okay. The problem being is that the nut's actually cut too low on this one. Sorry for the dead air, but I'm just looking at the stuff. The nut, that is cut better than a Gibson nut that I've seen recently, but it's still not correct. The action is too high. So the bridge is quite high as well, if you can see that. That can do with being screwed in a bit. So I'm going to try and sort that out before I rip it apart. This video is a lot longer than I intended, so sorry about that, but let's see. If you're answering each other's questions, that is wicked, by the way, thank you. The issue I have with the Epiphone is the finish chokes everything slightly. Yeah, I agree. I agree a lot. But, well, is there a but? No, there's no but with that. I'm just thinking about something I've not mentioned yet, is that I have an Epiphone that I've taken all the finish off and not mentioned it on the channel yet because I have messed it up proper. I'm going to make a video of my failures, because it's only fair that if I'm just posting stuff that looks and sounds good and things that I've succeeded in, that's not the truth. There are things that I have messed up in learning on how to do these things. So I'm going to post a video soon of my failures, and there's at least 2 guitars in my attic marked box of shame. So I need to get those out, but I wasn't intending on really revealing that today. Teeth are coming out. So let's go back to the chat. I have a soft spot also for the BC Rich Mockingbird. There's something about it. It's yeah, it's there was one for sale recently near me, and it was too much, but it would have been fun to just pick it up. Sell your guitars. Oh, right, thanks. Oh, I thought that came that way, lol. Okay, sorry, not following that one. I played once a PRS that is the best guitar I've ever played, and no idea what happened. I've played PRSs since that have not been anywhere near as good. So, yeah, there was that one that got away. When are we going to do a Squire modding video together? Matt, if you have a Squire ready, I'm ready to go. I have a Squire Jazzmaster, the J Mascis just there, that is ready to rock and roll. However, I'm going to be doing the Epiphone SL next, so if you want to get yourself an Epiphone SL, we can mod that together. Okay, Mikey, thank you for watching. I will speak to you soon. I want to get inside this guitar. So before I do, has anyone got any questions regarding playing it? Because as soon as I open this up, it's no longer as it's come from the factory. I will just... Squire Ducky Strat. Okay, I know it well. tuning with these strings. Michael, good morning. Wow. Yes, Matt, I've not changed anything. Thomas, that was my attempt at Blitzkrieg Bop. So apologies for murdering that one. These are the strings that came with it. I am going to take this one apart. This is the blue one. I'm going to start with that. I'll leave everything on back there. Let me know if it catches on fire. I shouldn't have checked my phone. I'm getting some mean comments on YouTube recently. I'm not even in the picture. I've just passed 3,000 subscribers, and thank you so much for that. But the level of trolling has increased so much. Yeah. Okay. It's like I'll comment on that comment later. So I need to now adjust this. How's that? Is everybody okay with that? I'm still here. I'm going to go to the back first and very gently lay that down. I've got a little pillow here for the headstock, and I'm on some kind of rubbery mat. Thanks, guys. That's really cool. I've got my trusty Bosch. If anyone's doing guitar mods or guitar repairing, this is an amazing tool. Maybe not necessarily the Bosch, but a battery-powered screwdriver. Saves so much time. And as always, little tin to put your screws in. Don't go and put them on the desk. There we go. Oh yeah, buy strings. Always change the strings if you buy a guitar. Always, always. Okay. There's nothing in there. No, there is in this one what looks like a standard switch you get from China. It's the blade switch. And a 4-wire... What's the word? 4 wires in one. I've got a grey wire with 4 wires inside it. That's pretty standard. That's what I was expecting. What's actually quite nice is that inside is not too much of a mess. Let's take this one out. Bits of box, a box of bits. Oh dear. Martin and RD, you're absolutely right about the trolls. The problem is I try to engage everybody on my channel, and it's just lost on some people. I would genuinely like to turn these people around from someone who's being negative to someone who's being positive, and I genuinely don't have the energy to do so. It's a shame. Okay, so... Ooh. Let's have a look there. Let's see if I can zoom in. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Okay, so there is the control cavity. First thing is there's a quick connect thing on there. That's good, that's useful, let's save them some time. Is this? Oh, that's a shame. This is the red one. This is the blue guitar, sorry. And it has a little red dot in there on a bit of tape. I don't know what that's for. It's probably adding tone, so I'll leave it in there. Yeah, it's got standard. It's got large pots, which is kind of good. It's got an earth from the bridge, and everything seems to be earthed, grounded. And it's got pretty much standard wiring that I'd expect from an Epiphone. Nothing has anything written on it yet. Oh no, this grey cable has some writing on it. RJ, CRJ. Don't know what that means. Yeah, so that's a control cavity of the blue one. I don't know what the dot's for. No idea. Regarding trolls, no, you can't. However, I have turned one or two around before, and they turned into very powerful allies. Powerful allies. No, but what I mean is they sort of defended my channel after that. Looking at the grain on the back just here, it does look like mahogany. But there are many different types of mahogany. There's a noticeably, the channel that goes from here to here is huge. That's obviously to push this quick connect through. RD, that was a joke. Poor attempt at a joke, sorry. Right, now I'm going to slacken off the strings. Get yourself one of these. If you haven't, save yourself years of time. Then slacken off the strings and take the pickups out. So, the suspense. A bit more. Oh, there's the bridge. I was half expecting to see the word Epiphone written on the back of there, but there's nothing there. It's just a standard bridge. It does have a retaining wire though. That's pretty cool. Gonna pop that back in. I want to look at the stop bar, which is not going to be easy. Because sometimes these have Epiphone written underneath as well. Come on, you swine. Sorry, more screwdriver. I'm trying to avoid cutting the strings at this point. Okay, there's the letters K, D and the number 1 written on the back of there. Just here. KD1. No idea what that means. Or maybe it's KDL, KD Lang. Who knows? But that's the boring side of this anyway. The interesting side is taking the pickups out. Invest in a good guitar kit. Yes, do that. I have 2 of these. One for machine heads, one for screwing. Have I dismantled a cheap Gibson LP before? Yes, I have. Let me just get these screws out of here and I will tell you the tale. Can't speed this up when it's live. Matt Quine, you never let me down. Be quite nice to know where everybody's from as well. If I know Matt Quine, well, Matt and I are friends, but I know where you're from. I won't give it away unless you want me to. But if you want to just tell me where you're from, and I will reveal what's going on in these pickups. Nothing! Oh no, a B. There is a B there. Hang on. Zoom, zoom, you beast. Okay, I won't zoom any more than that. Jack is from Wiltshire, East Coast, Richmond, Australia. Oh, sorry, Isle of Man. Germany. Guten Tag. I'm in Austria, in case anyone wondered. There, that's all that's on the back of this pickup. It is also a... I didn't check in the back cavity. Let's have a look. They are 2-wire pickups, so they are not easily coil splittable. Argentina, Los Angeles, Norway. Wow. You can barely get any guitar because of sights. Really? Is it really that bad? From France, UK. Imre, where in the UK? So just to recap, that does not have Epiphone written on it or anything. It's just says B on it, which I'm assuming is for bridge. That's quite tight in there. And no prizes for guessing, but this has the letter N written on it. London. Grimsby as well. Cool. Well, I'm in Upper Austria, but I am from Britain. I'm from Gloucestershire originally. Yeah, it's just a standard Chinese pickup. Is it potted? Yes, it is. It is wax potted. Let me just get my knife. Nope, there's a little bit of wax on the end of my knife there. So, let's pop that back in. Oh, before I pop that back in, let's have a look at the cavity of the guitar. That is cleaner than the Gibson was, the Gibson Light Studio, when I took it out. However, I don't know if there's a cap on there, because obviously they've covered this in a thick gloss poly finish, and Alcatraz. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Kentucky. Wow, quite a mix of people. That's really good. Really nice that people are staying asleep, staying awake, and not going to sleep, or just waking up. But anyway, has this got a cap? Covering this in a thick black poly finish means that you can hide anything you want. However, there is a maple cap on this, I think. There is most certainly a change in the colour of where I'm looking down here underneath this pickup. Where in Gloucestershire, Matt? Is it the Forest of Dean by any chance? That's where I'm from. Giving away far too much secret information on this live cast. I can't say it's a maple cap for certain, but what I can say is it looks like a maple cap. I'm going to get my knife in there and try and scrape some stuff away. Because where the paint is, there's paint come off here, or rather probably not been on. And I just want to take a little bit more off. So that's probably really not a nice noise I'm making right now. Stroud! Ah, I know Stroud well. Not very well, but well. Like a distant cousin. Okay, paint is off. I'm going to take a picture and make sure that I'm going to post that on Instagram now, because that's sort of, what's the word? Cross-platform promotion. But first I have to figure out how my phone works. Selective focus, there we are. Really trying not to mess this up. Okay. La la la. Like a CSI episode. CSI Andertons. Now I'm Austria, not Australia. Be careful with that. Austria, Österreich. Next to Germany. Next to Italy. Next to Slovenia. Next to the Czech Republic. Nothing wrong with Australia. I would love to visit, and I've heard many good things about it. However, I am not from Australia. Or rather, not living in Australia. I'm just going to post this on Instagram now. If you want to check me out on Instagram to see this picture, God, this is like I'm prepared or something. I am the Guitar Geek YT. Hang on. There I am, the Guitar Geek YT, just written up here. Hey, no apologies necessary, Ronnie. It's not the first and certainly won't be the last time I confuse people. There, so I'm posting this on Instagram now. I'm going to get on with this. The inside of Chibson. Oh no, my phone corrects it to Gibson. That'll upset some people. And then I'll hashtag it YouTube. There we go. It is on YouTube, on Instagram now. Let me just type in my Instagram in case anybody wants to join me. Instagram. Have I got that right? Oh, no I haven't. There we go. So if you are on the Instagram, that's my Instagram there. Raphael, regarding the GitCon, let's just come way close up to my face here. And yes, it is the birthplace of Schwarzenegger. Regarding GitCon, it's not out of the question. It's a possibility. I will say no more than that. I enjoyed this year's GitCon. I thought it was very entertaining and lots of guitars and stuff. If you'd like to see me at GitCon, then please contact Henning Pauly, the HP, yes, 42 on YouTube, and get him to have me. I can't say much, but what I can say is that if I were to be requested, then I would make myself available. There are two very good, at least three very good people. That's my girlfriend and my two children that are born in Austria, and they are very good most of the time. So that's the pickups out. I'm expecting exactly the same in the other one. I'm going to rip the other one open as well, but before I do that, I'm just going to look at the frets and stuff. I'm just going to pop a couple of screws back in here, so the pickups don't fall out. Absolutely, Ronnie. I know it's slightly sycophantic to say so, but there are some really awesome people that watch my videos, and some of them are here right now, and sorry if that sounds a bit soppy, but you guys are awesome. It's really nice to have some really decent people. So that's the pickups kind of back in. Let's look at the fretwork. I need to now move. I'm going to turn it around the other way. There. Okay. So, need to get some t-shirts done. So that is a rosewood fretboard. The inlays are done very well. Are very well done. Done very well. The binding here is a bit naff, but nothing worse than on my Epiphone Casino. If anyone ever tries to pass one of these off as a real Gibson, by the way, this has no nibs. And that's normally a giveaway that when it has no nibs, when the binding goes over the fret itself. Generally Gibson do that. I think they may have stopped doing it recently. Not sure actually. But the frets are in the right place, or they appear to be. They need polishing, but so does every guitar that I've ever seen. Every mass-produced guitar, I should say. The fretboard needs oiling. Thank you, Randy. Ah, Randy's just joined us. Hello. Nice to see you again. So yeah, it's not bad. It's quite impressive. It needs a setup just like an Epiphone would. It needs a good looking at. Let's go to the other one. So I'm now on the red one. This is the slightly thinner version one. Tone-wise, when I did the playthrough, it was a bit thinner, a bit snappier. But I found on the distortion and the overdrive, sorry, that the thicker one, the blue one, the first one I looked at, was a little bit muddy. So I would say that would definitely benefit from a pickup change. So here we go. Well, no, what am I doing? Back cavity first. Hey Jack, you're welcome. It's a pleasure. So the back cavity, on this one is the same as the first one. Whoa, how do I get that to go up? Like that. So that's the back cavity. Oh, it stinks. You can really smell the poly in there. I probably should stop sniffing that. A little bit of wood, a little bit of filler that's breaking off there. But that's on the inside. That's where it's not been cut away. That's not an issue at all. They've slightly missed the screw there, like. In fact, they're close to the edge on everything. Oh, these two are okay. These two are a little bit close to the edge, but not terrible. It's the same as the other one. A little bit of fluff there off one of the Chinese workers' jumpers, probably. Let's go for the other one. I haven't been looking at the chat, I'm really sorry. Matt Quiney, sorry mate, I'll speak to you later. Imre, thank you mate. That's really good, that's good to know. I do try and be fair to everybody. As I said earlier, I've been receiving a lot of trolling recently. Which has actually led to me, in full honesty, not putting up so much content. But I've decided to ignore the trolls as I've heard in here today as well, and just get on with it. I like what I do, and I like the people that watch my videos. If there's one or two that don't enjoy it, then that's their issue. Don't die, Andrew. Thanks. I wonder if SG copies are closer in quality. Randy, I have an SG copy coming next week. So this is going to be really close. In the interest of keeping you coming back for more on my channel, I will have an SG copy on this desk next week. And I've got an SG from Gibson also, and we can compare the two. There's a lot of stuff going on the Marshall Katana video at the moment. It's a vlog that I will be making. Here's the inside of that cavity. It's exactly the same. So let's go back out, zoom out, come back to me. Hello. So what we're looking at really, I will check the pickups also. They've missed the hole there. There's a bit of quality control. It's too thin here. The hole should be over that way a little bit, and therefore this one screw is not fitting properly. I seem to be very zoomed in still. I'm still very new to this YouTube live stuff, so forgive me if I'm messing it up. So I'm just going to put this back together very, very quickly. So that's on there, so I don't lose the pieces, and that the pieces that stay with one guitar, or came with one guitar, stay with that guitar. I don't want to get them mixed up. Screws are okay. I draw the line at screws. So, Jordan, Matt is, if you're talking to me, my name's Andrew, sorry. Matt is the guy, Matt Quine, a friend of mine who was just watching. I had a few questions about this guitar, or these guitars. I do need that picture of the Strat and the Mustang. I think that's why you're talking to me. Yeah, Ronnie, who would think that on YouTube people get upset at other people disagreeing with them? Yeah, William, oh, that's really cool of you to say so. Thank you very much. As always, if anyone trolls me or says something that is at all negative, it's not necessarily trolling. I'm open to negative comments. Then I just ask for someone to post a video of what they mean and how I can improve. Anyone who thinks that they can't learn anymore is wrong. I teach guitar, I play guitar, and I still learn guitar. I learn every time. I learn from my students, the beginners. I learned the fact that when this new player has got a first guitar and just can't believe that they have a guitar, or they come into my studio and they see all these guitars, oh wow. And because I work in here every day, you kind of forget that little sparkle of inspiration and that joy of loving music. So if any of you are new players or new to the world of guitars, don't think you're any less than people who've been playing for a lot longer than you, because they've lost a lot of the stuff that you have more of, and try and keep that alive. That's my public service announcement for this video. So I'm going to pop the pickups off this because the guitars do sound different. This is the thinner guitar. Thanks, man. That means a lot. This guitar is thinner, and it sounds clearer with overdrive than the thicker one. So, are the pickups any different? Let's find out. Just reading through the chat here, and there is so much sensible chat going on. It's amazing. Okay, let's have a look. Neck first. I'm now expecting this just to have the letter N written on the back, like the first one. Yeah, so it's the same. And when I say same, it has the same letter on it. No idea the quality of the windings or even the quality of the parts that are being used. But it is the same pickup. Yeah, Imre, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. There are some awesome people, and I think I've said it already, but I didn't expect so much love on a guitar channel. It's really cool. Help everybody out where you can, and if anybody ever replies to comments for me, that's brilliant. That's just, I love you guys. So, I'm expecting this just to say the B, and I'm not going to waste it. Yes, it's the same pickups. So this one has B, this one has N written on it. Looking at inside, okay, there's definitely a top on it. I'm looking up there underneath. I can't really get that pickup out of the way. If I hold it like that, can you see that there's a top here? Let me hold that here. So there's definitely 3 pieces of wood here. There's the top, 1 piece here. There's another top, 1 piece here. And then there's the body under here. So, wow, it really smells. Whew. What I can say is that there is a top on it. It looks to me to be maple. And it also looks... Oh no, I think it's a mahogany top, you know, on this one. This one looks slightly different. Or is there even... it's tough to say, man. There is a glue line there. But I'm not making great viewing this because I can't get the camera in there, but I'm not sure about this one. This one is different. Thinner. Sounds different, sounds a bit spankier, which would indicate more maple, but who knows? I suppose that's... I could end the video there, I guess. Or at least end the Chibson part. With these Chibsons, I'm not going to go political, and thank you so much for keeping this chat civil. I was expecting a little bit of backlash with the amount of trolling I've had recently. Get in there. Yeah, if you're buying one of these just because it says Gibson on the headstock, you're not going to get a Gibson. If you want a Gibson, go and buy a Gibson. Or not, or buy a used one and do it up and fix it up yourself. Telling people what to do here. This is just my opinion. What I will say for sure, if you want a Gibson, you will not get one if you buy one from China, because it is not a Gibson. If you want what seems to be a fairly decent guitar that with a little bit of time invested would actually be a really good player, then this is absolutely fine guitar. Whether you agree with that or not is kind of irrelevant from a player's point of view. If you're ever going to try and sell one and pretend that it is a Gibson, then that's a very naughty thing to do, and I would say that I would hope people would know. But having said that, I sold an Epiphone acoustic to a lady a few days ago, and she had no idea about anything about guitars. So you have to remember that there are people out there that know absolutely nothing. And she'd been playing for years, and she was a good player, but she had no interest in brands or indeed had any idea there were such thing as copies. The Epiphone I was selling was a real Epiphone. It's the AJ45 acoustic. I only sold it because I've got two for an alternate tuning. As you can see, I've got too many. Yeah, there's lots of umming going on here. So, let me just read back to the chat. I learn something new every day. I've been a musician all my life. 54. Martin, that's awesome. That's really cool. I recently picked up a fretless acoustic bass, and it has totally reinvigorated me for the aspect of guitar playing, because it's like learning a new instrument. Firstly, it's a bass, and I'm not a bass player. And secondly, it's got no frets on it, so you've got to really be accurate. And yeah, I can really agree with that. Do I have an interest in 7-string guitars? I have an interest in them, but not enough for me to actually chase one down yet. Maybe.